morning. Welcome to Holston Valley Unitarian Universalist Church. I am the Reverend Tiffany Anderson, the minister of this church, and my pronouns are she and her. I am so glad to be with you today. Thank you for joining us. If you are visiting us for the first time today, you are especially welcome. Michelle at the visitors table by the door can help you get oriented if you have any questions. If you have little ones, they can show you the way to the nursery, which is available during the service for children ages 6 and younger. Please be aware that our services are filmed and posted on YouTube, and there's a chance that you might be seen in our YouTube videos. If you want to guarantee that you are not on camera, you can sit in the perfume-free zone over here or the section closest to the back table by the library. This Sunday, we explore the indigenous Ayyew concept of Ayyew, a spiritual grounding for ecological care and a waste-free lifestyle, and the practice of eco-bricking that has sprouted up out of this spiritual grounding. Our opening hymn is number 203 in the thicker gray hymnal. It is a real celebration of our place in the interdependent web, all creatures of the earth and sky. We will sing the first 4 verses. Please rise with us in body or spirit for hymn 203. Earth, clay from which we are made and to which we will return. Soil, rich and aromatic, crumbling in my fingers, dark under my fingernails. This cleansing dirt, the natural filter for aquifers, holds life. Once weathered rock and dissolved mineral, now joined with humus, decaying material feeding hungry fungus and bacteria. You are living, made out of living organisms and giving us life. Forgive us for treating you like dirt. Overlooked as we walk over you with a second look, littered with our discarded cartons and plastic bags. Forgive us our seeping toxins from clever industrial innovations. Forgive us and accept these seeds. Seeds, promise of future life. May you germinate and live into your full potential. Let your roots feel and follow the earth's gravity down, and let your green shoots break through to the surface and feel the light. Future plants, thank you. Thank you for converting sunlight into chemical energy that allows life to flourish. Thank you literally for the food that we eat. Thank you, and accept this water. Water, fundamental compound, we are only a part of your journey. Little puddles making mud, cumulonimbus clouds above, glaciers melting over us tower, sprinkling in a suntime shower, the unimaginable expanse of ocean's depths, vapor in our dying breath. You are in all of us, in every cell of our being. Water, continue to flow, continue to allow life to grow, continue to quench our thirst, continuing your cycle through the earth, transpiration and evaporation, condensation and precipitation, continue to filter and trickle into streams, finally reaching the sea, only to continue your journey again into the air. Air, solution of gases, invisible but felt, held and heard. We feel you as the air pressure changes and the trees' leaves dance in your wind. We hold you in anticipation. You are our life's breath, flowing in and out of us all. Oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. Inhale, exhale, flowing back and forth between plant and person, animal and algae. We hear you, air. You are the conveyance for our encouraging words and uplifting music. As your waves vibrate, you surround us and expand through our atmosphere beyond the stratosphere toward our sun. Little yellow star, great source of life's energy, bringer of light and warmth, harbinger of the new day as we see you again after another rotation of our axis. Roiling, radiant plasma, your solar rays give us hope. Hope for a new tomorrow, hope for warmth after a long winter, hope for light when the future seems dark and so hard to see. Brilliant, giant sun, shine down upon our little earth. Please sit with us in stillness.
Good morning. I'm Catherine, and I'll be your service leader for today. I'm incredibly grateful to be a part of this wonderful, ecologically minded spiritual community. Today's spiritual exploration is supported by our seventh principle, respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part, and our sixth source, spiritual teachings of earth-centered traditions which celebrate the sacred circle of life and instruct us to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature, and the Unitarian Universalist value of interdependence, which calls us to covenant to protect earth and all beings from exploitation. We will create and nurture sustainable relationships of care and respect, mutuality and justice. We will work to repair harm and damaged relationships. For our little community, this is all about pursuing justice and sharing love. Will you join me by saying the words of our vision statement which are printed in your bulletin as we light the chalice together? We work together as a church to transform ourselves, our community, and our world by sharing love, pursuing justice, and seeking wonder. We'd like to invite our children, youth, parents, and young at heart to join us down front for a time for all ages.
Good morning. If any of you have offerings to help with hunger, they are right here. Thank you so much for your generosity. So I heard that some of you did a very interesting project this morning during your religious education classes, and I'm hoping you can help me out. What's this? It's okay. Really, you're not going to be able to answer this correctly if you weren't an RE this morning. It's an eco brick. Very good. How do you make an eco brick?
You put lots of plastic in a bottle or something like that.
So you pack clean plastic into a plastic bottle, you tamp it down real hard with the stick, and it makes it quite solid. This is really, that hurt. This is really solid. Why do you think we make eco bricks? Or some people make eco bricks? Huh?
Well, we're not supposed to.
Okay, so some people use them to make houses. That's correct.
To reduce plastic?
Okay, so it's taking plastic that's already waste that could be going into a landfill and finding something new and useful to do with it, right? That's very cool. And we already covered what we do with them once they're made. People actually use these for construction. Not around here so much. I'm pretty sure our building is not made out of eco bricks, but there are places all over the world that are starting to use this as a pretty solid construction material. And I think it's really neat to think that people are helping the environment to reuse what most people would consider trash in ways that are actually helping them and keeping all of these plastics out of the landfills. So here's some examples of walls and homes made out of eco bricks. Isn't that cool? She color coordinated hers. But look how serious and big it can get if you're really determined. I mean, he's even making scaffolding and doing a second floor up there. And there's the same guy with another example of that same building. So I think if we just use our imaginations, that we can find a lot of ways to reuse things that most people consider trash. If we do that, and we compost and we recycle and we make good decisions when we're buying the things that we need, we can all do our part to care for the earth and each other. So thank you so much for working on making eco bricks this morning. Thank you for teaching me about eco bricks right now, and you all can go back to your seats. Another brick in the wall, the most famous song from Pink Floyd's 1979 rock opera, The Wall, challenged an educational system that prioritized obedience and conformity over learning. It was picked up in South Africa when students were protesting economic disparities and public education in the 1980s. The song eventually reached #1 in South African charts because of its usage, and then it was banned. Songwriter Roger Waters really just wanted to speak of his own experiences of oppression in school and never imagined that his song would be used as a protest anthem. But like most art, the meaning expanded when it was picked up by others. Today, the meaning expands again as we break out of the status quo too by reimagining what is garbage and what is part of our life cycles with very different kinds of bricks in the wall.
Daddy's flown across the ocean, leaving just a memory. A snapshot in the family album. Daddy, what else did you leave for me? Dad, what you leave behind for me? All in all, it was just a brick in the wall. All in all, it was all just bricks in the wall. We don't need no education. We don't need no thought control. Dark sarcasm in the classroom. Teacher, leave them kids alone. Hey, teacher, leave them kids alone. All in all, it was just a brick in the wall. All in all, it's just another brick in the wall. We don't need no education. We don't need no thought control. No dark sarcasm in the classroom. Teachers, leave them kids alone. Hey, teacher, leave the kids alone. All in all, you're just another brick in the wall. All in all, you're just
Wow. Thanks, y'all. Woo. Our commitment to community and showing up for each other means that no matter whatever else we have going on, we set aside time for celebrating our joys and holding our sorrows together. If you want to shine a light on your personal journey, you can share a joy or a sorrow in person by using these candle cards that are located on the back table. And if you'd like to share a joy or a concern from a distance, please email minister@hvuuc.org. An anonymous candles card that expresses both joy and sorrow. A child at my work was adopted by his foster parent today. I am so happy for this outcome and am relieved I won't have to worry about their future, knowing they're part of a family that loves them. With that said, adoption can only happen when a great loss has occurred. I hold sorrow in my heart for this child's birth family and all the heartache they have suffered at the hands of a cruel and often unjust system. Furthermore, I hold deep sadness for all first families that are unable to reunite with their loved ones. An unrelated but interestingly paralleled candles card, a candle of joy from Brooklyn and her family, that at the beginning of this month, Peyton was finally adopted by her dad. For the past 5 years, he has been her dad in every sense of the word except legally, and now he's her dad legally too. The whole family reports that they couldn't be more happy. Congratulations, you guys. And another candle for family today. Joy Nichols would like us to light a candle in honor of her daughter, Dawn, who will be in surgery this week. Dawn is the light of her life, and Joy is deeply saddened that she cannot be with her this week. So we come to this table, bringing all that we are and everything we carry to this table of joy and sorrow, grief and hope, community and care. If you wish to light your own candle, approach the side of the table that is closest to you, and the closer candle keeper will assist you. Please light candles at the back of the table first so that no one has to reach over and open a flame. And if you wish for us to light a candle for you, please raise your hand until I acknowledge you, and I will light a candle for you. And our community is so much larger than just those of us who are in the building at this moment, and so we light a candle to hold space for those who are not physically present with us, but are ever in our hearts. end, we light a final candle for all that remains unspoken in our hearts and minds.
Our reading is an excerpt from an article published in Medium, written by Russell Meyer. In one of the more profound periods of my life, I was stranded in the remote northern Filipino Cordilleras, in the land of the Igorot people. The Igorots, one of the few unsubjugated indigenous peoples in Asia, have over the centuries fiercely maintained a remarkable culture and profoundly harmonious way of life. At a point of my life where love, career, and direction were all falling apart, I was taken in by the Igorots and made their verdant remote land my home for 5 years. While living in a small mountainside village, I learned their Kankanaey language as a way to integrate and heal. It was fascinating to learn new words and concepts from a culture so different from my own. However, it was even more fascinating to learn what words they did not have. In the Igorot language, there is no word for trash. In their worldview, there is no concept of waste or worthless. It was very hard for me to grasp at first. The concept of waste is so ingrained in my own worldview. Yet, in the Igorot civilization, literally everything has its own use, and once its purpose is complete, another one awaits it. Everything from cups, bowls, packaging, backpacks, tools, and houses were made from locally sourced organic resources. Once their use was complete, everything could be reused locally and personally in some new way. They could be composted, fed to the pigs, or fixed and repurposed. I realized that it was impossible for something to be waste or worthless if its next life cycle was already built in. As I continued to learn the language, I also discovered that they had words that were missing in my language. The most striking was the word Ayyew. It became clear to me that this was an important Igorot virtue, a word used to describe the attribution of value to the tighter cycling of an object. The closest we have in English is thriftiness, but its emphasis on saving money and slightly derogatory connotation mean it's not the same. Ayyew is entirely positive and exalts and praises the maximizing of cycles of utility. For example, one could compost one's organic waste for garden fertilizer, or more Ayyew, feed it to the pigs, thus fattening them up and creating richer manure to fertilize the garden. My friend Ne Ongwei describes how children are encouraged to be Ayyew and finish their meal down to the last grain of rice, not because it will be waste, but to respect their place in the cycles of harvest, season, and sun that made the rice possible. Sure, the leftover food could be given to the pigs. However, the cycles of life are even more enriched when the rice is eaten by a human, who can then tend the cycles of the pig and the garden. It's a subtle yet powerful distinction and affirmation. This exaltation of Ayyew leads to not only the prioritization of maximizing ecological cycles in Igorot culture, it enables the Igorot to know their place in the cycles and to work towards enriching them at every turn.
Imagine a world with no trash, no waste. Can you imagine it? A tour of my house would reveal that I don't live in that world. Like most Americans, waste is part of my life. But the Igorot don't even have a word for trash until colonizers introduced them to basura. Their entire culture, from landscaping to language, is built around the idea that each item has a future life ahead of it, Nothing is discarded, but is simply ready for its next role in the great cycles of life. Their neighbors to their south in Manila, the capital city of the Philippines, have a plastic problem. And it's no wonder. Companies wanting to sell their products in developing countries have found the sachet economy to be very lucrative. Essentially, sachets are small, sealed, single-use plastic bags, often with many layers of varying plastics, used to sell inexpensive micro portions of everyday products, from laundry detergent to seasoning and snacks. And we have them too. They're the ketchup packets and soy sauce packets that we encounter when we get fast food to go. The difference between our sachet usage and the usage of sachets in the Philippines and many other developing countries like them is that for them, just about every product is being sold individually wrapped like this now. There are few other options for people who are trying to meet their daily needs. The combination of tropical climates where everything spoils easier and poverty-level economies that make bulk buying impossible means that these single-use, plastic-intensive packages have been a marketing gold mine for large corporations wishing to sell their products to the people of Manila. Imagine if everything you bought and consumed, from laundry detergent to your coffee hour cookie, came in a single-use plastic, individually wrapped package. And then multiply that by 1.78 million, the population of Manila. And you might begin to understand the scope of the situation. This sachet-based economy, combined with a largely negligent tourist population that sweeps through the country and storms that regularly push all the plastic out to sea, resulted in the Philippines being the world's third largest source of plastic pollution in the ocean. What in the world could be done about such a large, systemic problem? One solution, which is still ongoing, is creative and grassroots. It's in the hands of the people who live there and are the most affected by the problem. Eco-bricks. They're plastic bottles packed with these sachets and other plastic waste, patiently and selectively using a stick to tamp it all down until it is solid. Then these bottles are used for building materials, just like the kids showed us this morning. And they report that it takes a lot of arm muscle to tamp that stuff down. The France Observer reports that, when done right, this method is cheaper and safer than normal building materials. Hollow blocks or bricks fall in an earthquake. Bottle bricks will shake but won't fall. They're actually safer. A study carried out in Bangladesh in 2016 found that the bottle bricks were twice as strong as conventional concrete cylinders. And if you've tried to build a house lately, you know how expensive building materials are too. And these are far, far cheaper. Incredibly cheap if you dumpster dive and do it yourself. Eco-bricks have even become an organized business model in Manila. The Manila eco-brick movement has grown larger than a few creative souls wearing out their arms, stuffing plastic into bottles. While there are still many well-organized grassroots efforts, at least one company took it to the next level. Green Ants Builders collects the plastic sachets gathered by people in the community, shreds them, and mixes them with a little bit of concrete to make eco-bricks. There's some pictures of them. They call it a circular economy. Unemployed and underemployed people can get paid for collecting the sachets. The waste is then reused completely to make the bricks, and people get the building materials that are often hard to come by. And that sounds like Ayyew, the principle taught to Russell Meyer when he was living with the Igorot. The principle that he then used to become the foundation of the eco-bricking movement that he founded. While this word, Ayyew, has no translation in English, it basically means the virtue of striving to be in ever more harmony with the surrounding ecological cycles, which sounds an awful lot like finding your place in the interdependent web of all existence. Composting your food scraps or feeding it to a pig is Ayyew. Repairing or repurposing your clothing is Ayyew. Buying locally is Ayyew, as it reduces the resources expended to create and transport goods. It's all about maximizing every resource, wasting nothing. Ayyew is not a state of being, but a process of being. It's not a noun, it's a verb. It's not a thing, but a way of living. This is an interesting parallel to several North American indigenous cultures, where verbs are emphasized over nouns. Relationships are prioritized in vocabulary and sentence structure, and the whole community is built around practices rather than things. Rather than seeing leftover product as garbage, the Igorot people simply look at something and get curious about what is next in its cycle. What is the next step in its process and in our relationship with it, whatever the thing is. With this perspective, even the single-use plastics washing onto the beaches in droves are just ready for their next stage of usefulness. And thanks to eco-bricks, the next stage is in the walls of buildings. Now, not everyone loves the eco-brick concept. In doing my research to learn more about bottle bricking, I came across more than one detractor. There are several big, environmentally conscious organizations from places like Massachusetts and England that preach loudly against eco-bricking and bottle bricking. And I will grant that there are some valid concerns. If you fail to clean and pack the plastic properly, the bottle bricks will become unstable in a few years. But I looked at that one is, all that plastic's been cleaned, it's been packed properly, that one's gonna work. And there are also a few valid concerns about plastic toxicity. And these Westerners that are loudly decrying a creative and resilient solution to two problems because they have really dug their heels into their principle that no one should be using plastics ever, are showing us a very limited mindset that is steeped in their own economic privilege. They should absolutely use their power to address and challenge the companies that are making these choices for the people. but undermining this very significant thing that people are doing with the very little power that they have to do something about this problem is not helping build a better world for everyone. We here, with our significant options and more abundant resources, can make other choices beyond single-use plastics, and we should, and we often do. I see you, so many of you, buying in bulk, using your reusable grocery bags, carrying your reusable water bottles, and doing the dishes in the church's kitchen rather than throwing away disposable cups and plates. And that is awesome. We should absolutely be doing these things, and thank you if you are. But the people of Manila, who are creatively rethinking their trash into reusable resources, have a lot less options than we do, and are doing what they can with what they've got. Essentially, the trash is flowing downhill, and they are at the bottom, turning it into something good and useful. This is the embodiment of resilience, and it takes a sort of spiritual power that those of us in privilege rarely have to tap into, which invites us to a different kind of spiritual power, choosing not to judge, but rather to empathize with people whose situations are different from ours and who necessarily must make different choices than we do, often because they have less access to choice altogether. We cannot let the perfect get in the way of the good, especially when we are letting our individual perfect get in the way of somebody else's good. Because truly, sometimes that perfectionistic mindset is actually a corporate manipulation. Some of the world's largest polluters drop serious cash into ad campaigns designed to convince people that the world's environmental woes are primarily the fault of individual consumer choices. The 2017 Carbon Majors report points out that 100 companies are responsible for more than 70% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions. Yet, those same companies will spend PR money to run "we care about the environment" kind of ads designed to guilt us about our tiny environmental sins. This isn't to say that we as individuals shouldn't do what we can, but it is to say that we need to recognize that a lot of the noise about our personal responsibility is coming from companies that are doing a lot of harm, and they're probably doing this to deflect from the harm that they're doing. A quick Google search can lay out a bunch of examples of this sort of corporate gaslighting, but the one I'll never forget is the anti-littering sign put up in a park by Duke Energy. It says, "Why are you littering?" And then it has checkmark boxes that give possible answers like, "I'm a jerk," "I don't care about natural resources," "Mommy still cleans up after me," and all of the above. Now, online, the picture of this Duke Energy sign is juxtaposed with a clip of a news article whose title reads, "Duke Energy fined $102 million for polluting rivers with coal ash." So it kind of does raise the question about which box Duke Energy should check off. We here, we are small people doing the best that we can to make a difference. And if there are people here who have true power to influence the decisions that their companies are making, that is awesome. Please go do that. And we can advocate for a world where eco-bricks will never be needed, and we can vote in a way that honors the cycles of life. And I know that we will do whatever we can to reduce waste. And we can celebrate those who are doing so much more with so much less around us. This is power, knowing we can't fix everything, but that we will do what we can, creatively cleaning up, helping each other, maybe making something beautiful. Yes, there's the bottle brickers in this congregation and all over the world looking at one person's trash and seeing it as something more, getting curious about its next role in life, saying nothing is waste. They make homes and garden walls and even furniture. And then, we'll get there. But that's cool, right? Okay, so then there's this guy who figured out if the plastic bottles are filled with air rather than trash, he could make a boat. And there's this wire rhino sculpture, which is really just a fancy large garbage can for plastic. But people genuinely enjoy collecting plastic to put in there, which keeps it out of the oceans. And plastic in the oceans is a big deal. And so there's all these beautiful beach garbage sculptures of marine life to raise awareness. I love the creativity that goes into these, and they usually are built right after people go out and clean up the beaches and pick up all the trash. And even if in the grand scheme of things, they're not taking a lot of plastic out of the system, they are doing something, which is better than nothing. Look at that. And you get some of these plastic art that is really objectively beautiful. And we can even make a chalice out of a plastic bottle. Our Unitarian Universalist values and principles have been bringing our interdependence to the forefronts of our consciousness for decades now. We know in our minds, in our hearts, and our guts that how we treat this planet is ultimately how we treat ourselves. And to see the world through the indigenous wisdom of Ayyew urges us to treat ourselves, each other, and everything around us with care and respect, curiously asking what we can do with what we might otherwise discard, knowing that none of us are trash, none of us are waste, knowing that how we relate to the earth matters. Today and every day, we have a choice to make. Will we do the good that we can do, or will we despair that perfection is so far out of reach? The world doesn't need our perfectionistic grief, our resignation, our helplessness. The world needs our creativity, our commitment, and our good faith efforts to do what we can. The world needs the wisdom of minds and hearts that see the process of Ayyew where others see garbage. This week, let's look at our surroundings with a new curiosity and discover the ways we can do the small good things we can do for the earth, for each other, for ourselves, and for the complex web of connections that we are blessed to be a part of. And maybe we will find hope and even beauty in the most unlikely places of all.
I pledge allegiance to the earth and all life, the fields and streams, the mountains and seas, the forests and deserts, the air and soil, all species and reserves, habitats, environments, one world, one creation, one home, indivisible for all, affected by pollution anywhere, depleted by any waste, endangered by greedy consumption, degradation by faithlessness, preserved by recycling, conservation, and reverence, the great gift renewed for all generations to come. Thank you for being with us today. We'd love if you could stay for coffee hour. We always have more going on in this community than we can name from the pulpit on Sunday mornings. So please look at your bulletin or go to our website or Facebook page to see upcoming events, or leave your email address at the visitors table and check the box to receive our e-news. Youth group is meeting tonight from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., and we would love to see all our middle school and high school friends join us to build community together. The women's group is building community with a pool party this Friday night. If you identify as a woman and want to come, you can email womensgroup@HVUUC.org. And we hope that you'll join us on Friday night, August 16th at 6 p.m. for Deeper Than the Skin, Reggie Harris and Greg Greenway, one black, one white, lifelong friends, tell their stories and share their music about growing together in a world that told them they should stay apart. There's a link on the back of your bulletin for buying tickets, but if you want to get them right now, Lori will be in the foyer with a computer and can help you purchase your tickets today. They're $20 for adults and $10 for kids and students. Our closing hymn is number 1057, Go Lift It Up, in the thinner teal hymnal. This is also when we collect the offering. This is part of our Ayyew practice, where we give to support work that aligns with our values and build a place of healing where all are included. So if you can give a little money in the plate as it goes by, we would really appreciate it. Please rise with us in body or spirit for closing hymn number 1057, Go Lift It Up. We'll sing through it twice.
So much for your generosity this week and every week. May justice lead us to the calling of this moment. May wonder meet us right where we're at. May we discover our collaborators and our companions, and may love guide us on this journey of transformation. Blessed be, amen, and go in peace.
All in all, it was all just bricks in the wall.